this session, we'll discuss about augmented assignment operators and methods in list data type like index, append, insert, remove, sort, and reverse. So consider this example where we have assigned a value of 42 to spam, and in the next line we are incrementing the value of spam by using the statement spam is equal to spam plus 1. Now this statement we can replace it with a augmented assignment operator like this, called as plus equal to. The operation remains the same. It does the same work as spam is equal to spam plus 1. Similarly, we have different comment operators. This is for addition, and for subtraction we have minus equal to. For multiplication it is star equal to. For division it is slash equal to, and for finding the remainder it is percentage equal to. So let's see examples of this in the IDLE screen. I assign a value spam is equal to 42. So the value of spam is now 42. Let's increment the value of this spam by using the augmented assignment operator. Let's increment it by, let's say, by 10. So now the value of spam will be 52. So this augmented assignment operator does the operation of spam is equal to spam plus 10. Similarly, let's try using the augmented assignment operator for subtraction. Let's subtract 5 from it. So now the value of spam is 47. Let's use the multiplication, star equal to 3. So now 47 is multiplied by 3 and the value we get is 141. Now let's say we divide it again by 3. The value we get now back is again 47. So in order to find the remainder we have to use a percentage sign. Percentage is let's say we divide 47 by 2. So spam percentage equal to 2 will divide the spam value by 2 and the remainder will be stored in spam. So the value of spam will be now 1. So this way we can use these are the different augmented assignment operators. We can also use this augmented assignment operators on string operation. Let's say I assign a string to spam. Let's say we call it as hello. Now upon this I can do string concatenation by using the plus equal to augmented assignment operator, and let's say we will add world to it. So what does this do? This will do string concatenation. Plus equal to will do the string concatenation. So okay, there was an error. I did not enclose within quotes. Plus equal to world. So now you can see that spam contains hello world. So hello plus equal to has done here string concatenation operation. We also have string replication. So we can do star equal to, let's say 10 times I want to see hello world. So when you see the spam operator, the spam variable, it will have hello world printed 10 times. So plus equal to for string will do the string concatenation, and star equal to will do string replication. Now coming to the next topic, we'll discuss now about methods in list data types. Now what's the difference between a method and a function? We have seen functions earlier, built-in functions we have seen in the earlier sessions. We can also create our own functions. Now what is a method? Method is same as a function, but the difference is it is called upon a value. In the sense, suppose spam is a variable, so upon this I am calling the method. So we are using a period or a dot operator. So method, unlike a function, is called upon a value. So you first write the value, then you write the dot operator, and then you write the method. So that's how you differentiate between method and a function. Now each data type has its own set of methods. Similarly, in the same way, list data type also has its own methods, and these are the methods which are associated with the list data type. Index method is used for finding an item in the list. Append method is used for appending an item into the list. Insert is used for inserting an item in the list. Remove method is used for removing an item in the list. Sort method is used for sorting an item in the list, and reverse is used for reversing the order of items in the list. Let's see each of these methods one by one. Let's first see the index method. Now index method is a method for list data type. It is used to find whether a value exists in the list or not. If that value exists in the list, then the index of that value will be returned. If the value doesn't exist in the list, then Python produces a value error. So let's see this with a simple example. in the IDLE screen. So let's say I create a list. How do you create a list? You enclose it within square brackets, and within that you write your values which are separated by commas. Let's say I give some string values. Like AA, BB, CC. Now I have defined a list called as spam, which is having AA, BB, CC as the values. Now you have to, let's use the index method. So how do you call the index method? Right here, spam dot index. Now you have to this is used for finding a value in the list. So let me I want to find out whether BB exists or not within the list. So you have to give it. You have to, since we are finding a string again, we have to enclose it within quotes and then close it. So what is it is returning? If it finds that value in the list, it will return the index of where that value is. Now BB is at an index 1. Suppose I write spam dot index AA. So what does it return? 0, because AA is at the index 0. We have seen in earlier classes, right? So index for list starts, if we start from the left hand side, it starts from 0, 1, 2. Okay, suppose I write a value which is not existing in the list. Let's say I give some value which does not exist in the list. Then it produces an error saying that this value is not in the list. Now the next question, if there are duplicate values, that means the value which I am searching is, suppose there are many values of that kind in the list, then what does it return? Let's see this with an example. So let's say my spam list is having AABB. Now let me create some duplicates into this. Let's say I have let's have a new list. Again I have 1, again I have 2, again I have 3. So I have created a list now with the values which are like this. So you can see there are multiple values of 1, 2 and 3. Now suppose I say I call the index method to find 1. Now the question is, which index will it return? Will it return the position of this first number 1, or will it return the position of the second? You can see that it returns the index of the first element it searched for. So by default, if suppose there are multiple values which are of the same kind, or the multiple duplicate values within a list, and when you call an index method to find that value, it will return the position of that first element. So in this case it returns 0, so because it's returning the position of this first element which it found. Let's go for the next method called as append and insert. Now what does append do? Append is going to add new values to the list. It's just going to append or add it to the end of the list. So suppose now I have a spam which is like this. The spam is a list containing these values. Now to that, if I want to append some values, so let's say append. Now see, as I've already told in the previous session, list can contain integers, floating point numbers, strings, anything. So let me say I want to append an integer to this. Right, let me append an integer. So what do? Spam dot call the method and write the argument. That means what value I want to append. Because I'm appending a string, I'm enclosing that within single quotes, and press enter. So now when you see spam, you can see the list earlier was only till this. Now Python has been appended to it. So what does append function do? It will append values to the list at the end of it. Okay, now there is another method called as insert method. What does insert do? Insert will give you a flexibility of where you want to put values into your list. So that is why you give two arguments to index. The first one is the position where you want to put that new value, and the second one is that value. So in this case, let's say for spam, now let's say I want to add programming at this second index. So what do? Spam dot insert, give the position at where you want to append. Let's say I want to append the value at second index. So give that index number, comma, what do you want to append? So let's say I want to append program string into it. So now when I see spam, you can see the value program has been appended at the index 2. The first one is index 0, this is 1, and this is 2. So what's the difference between append and insert? Append is used to append the values to the end of the list, and insert is used to add the values to the list at the position which you give. So that is why insert will have two arguments. The first argument will tell which index where you want to put the value, and the second argument will tell what is the value that you want to add it to the list. And one thing you have to remember is both these functions, append and insert, will not return any value. So that means if I give something like this, see, spam is having these values. If I give spam is equal to spam dot insert, let's say at first position I want to insert this. Okay, so what have I done is I have used the insert function and I have assigned it to spam. So that means what? Whatever value is returned from this would be assigned to spam. And if you actually see spam now, it will say it. If you print spam, you can see that the value is none. So what does this mean? Insert and append will modify the list, but it will not return any value. So when you assign this insert and append into another variable, that variable will actually have the value none. So that means what? This function or this method has returned a value none, because insert and append is only used to modify the list. It will not return a value. Please remember this. Okay, return value of append and insert is none. The list is modified in its place. It will not return any value. Or let's to keep it simple, if it is, since I've used the same variable, you might find it confusing. So let's just do it again to make it easier for you. I'll just open the IDLE screen again. Okay, now let's say I create a list like this, 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, so this is the list. Now if I write spam underscore new is equal to spam dot insert positions, let's say 3, I insert a value Python. So what have I done here is, to this spam list I have inserted a value Python at the index 3, and I have returned this value to spam underscore new. So when I actually print spam, you can see the value which is inserted into it, because insert function will modify the list. But if I actually print spam underscore new, none will be displayed. So that means this function will return a none. Okay, so that's the meaning. Append and insert will return none. Only it will modify the list in its place. Now coming to the next type, now these methods belong to the list data type. I cannot use this insert and append to a string. So if I see in this case x is equal to hello, it is a string. So upon that, if I try to append a string, it will not work, because append function method is only designed, it only belongs to the list data type. It does not belong to the string data type. See, in the second example here, bacon is equal to 42. Now bacon is actually an integer. It is not a list. So upon that, if I try to use an insert method, it will not work. It will say int object has no attribute insert. That means int data type does not have any method called as insert, because insert method and append method is only for list data types. Bacon is not a list here. It is only an integer. Now let's see the next method, remove. So remove method is remove a value from is used to remove a value from the list. So therefore the argument which is passed to remove is the value which you want to remove. So let's say I create a list something like this. Let's have some strings inside this. So this is the list that we have created. So upon this, if I use the remove function, I have to specify which value I want to remove. Suppose I say I want to remove BB. See, this will give you an error because BB is actually a string, but I did not enclose it within code. So it's going to say that it is not defined. So what we have to actually do is spam dot remove enclose BB within a single quotes. So now when I see spam, you can see BB has been removed from the list. So what is the functionality of remove method? Remove method is used to remove a value from the list. Now suppose I try to remove a value which does not exist. So let's say I do spam remove. I'll try to remove some value which does not exist. Now 13 is not part of this list. So it should give us an error saying that X not in the list. So that means 13 is not in the list. Now the next question is, suppose we have multiple times the same value exists. So like say I create a list like this, 1, 2, again I have 2, 3, 4, again I have 2, again I have 2. So I have created a list like this which is having multiple values of 2, and upon that if I say if I want to remove 2 from the list, the next question is, will all the 2's be removed from the list or only will be the first occurrence removed? So if you actually see that only the first occurrence, first instance of that value is removed. Okay, so if you have multiple values or duplicate values in the list and you try to remove that value, only the first instant of that value will be removed, not all. So remember this. Okay, now there is some other statement which you will commonly come across, that is called as DEL statement. Now DEL or the delete statement, when do you use that? Can you use that to remove any value from the list? So let's say, can I use del to remove a value from the list? Will it do the similar functionality? You can do it. You can just say delete and what is the name of that list? Spam. So which value you want to remove? So when you are using delete or del, you have to specify the index, not the value. So let's say I want to remove 4, then it will just remove 4. Now if I try to open this spam, you can see that okay, what has happened? It does not remove 4, it will remove the value at the index 4. So what is at the index 4? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it has removed this value. So what's the difference between remove and delete is, when you are using remove, you specify the value. But when you are using delete, you specify the index. What value you want to remove from that index. And the most important is, remove is a method which belongs to list data type. That's why when you are using remove, we write the value, then we use a period operator or the dot operator, and then you write your method. But DEL does not belong to it is not a method of list data type. So remember that. The functionality, it may do something similar to that, but this is not belonging to the list data type. So that is why the syntax is completely different. You do not write the value, you do not write the dot statement. So that is what I said in the beginning of the session. The difference between method and a function is, in method you specify the value, you then write the period operator or the dot operator, and then you write the method. Now the next method that we are going to see is sort method. Now sort method is used to sort the values within the list. It will sort it according to a particular sequence. See, for example, here I have numbers here, so it will sort it according to the ascending order. So suppose I have spam is equal to some numbers which are not in the which are just randomly given without any order. Now upon this, if I give sort function, spam dot sort function, now what does it do? When you open spam, you can see that all the values have been now sorted in a ascending order. Now similarly, if I use strings, what happens? If I use strings, then it will again sort the values in this list in the alphabetical order. So here we have given a spam ant, cats, dogs, badgers, elephant. So after sorting, you can see first ants, badgers, C, D, E. So it's going in the alphabetical order. Now suppose I do not want to I do not want to have it in the ascending order. I want to have it in the descending order. Then you specify reverse is equal to true. That means you reverse it, reverse whatever is happening. So in this case, I have given here spam. What is the value of spam I have here? 12489. So let's say I again give. Let's say I create a list again. Okay, so this is the list. Now you can see it is all jumbled up. Now I don't want to organize it in the ascending order. I want it in the descending order. Then what you have to do, spam.sort, and the right here reverse is equal to true. So when you do that and you see spam, you can see that now spam is arranged in the descending order. So if you want to, by default, sort method will arrange in the ascending order for the numbers and in the alphabetical orders for the alphabets. If you want to reverse that, you just give reverse is equal to true. Now there is another order which we call it as ASCII-bitical order. Now suppose my list is having elements like this, Alice, ants, it's all jumbled up, where the starting alphabets you can see here it is a capital letter, it is a small letter, it is a capital letter, small b. So in this case, suppose we have something like this, or then what happens, it will arrange it in the ASCII-bitical order. It will not give all A's, all B's, all C's like that. It will not give like that. It will give the ASCII-bitical, because in ASCII what happens, uppercase letters will come first and then the lowercase letters will come. So when you arrange this list in the using the sort method, you can see Alice, Bob, Carol is printed first because they are starting from the capital letters, and then the next words starting from small letters are coming. So that means sort method by default works in the ASCII-bitical order. It follows the ASCII. That means uppercase letters will come first and then the lowercase. Now coming to the next one, suppose I do not want this ASCII-bitical order, then what you can do is you convert all these values to lowercase, which is done implicitly. So for example here the list is containing something like this. I have small letters and then I have capital letters. Now if I use sort method here, then by default what happens is first capital letters will come and then small letters will be displayed. Now if I do not want that to happen, then you just write key is equal to str.lower. So what does this do? This will implicitly convert all of these letters to small letters, and therefore what happens, small a, capital A, then small z, capital Z will be printed. So what does sort function do? It treats all the items in the list as if they are lowercase without actually changing it. That's what I said, implicitly. It will not change this, but implicitly behind it will change it to lowercase and then it will do the sorting. Now this is another method which we call it as reverse method. So reverse method, it will reverse the order of the items in a list. So if I give a list something like this, what does reverse do? It will just reverse the order. So first cat, dog, moose is there. When I call the reverse function, then moose, dog, cat will be printed. So similarly to sort, reverse again does not return a list. It will just alter the list. We have seen insert method, we have seen append method. They do not return any value. They just alter the existing list. So remember this, reverse method will alter the order of the items in the list. So if I give cat, dog, moose, then if I use a reverse method on that, moose, dog, cat, it just reverses the list. Okay, so try all these methods in your system. Please try all these programs. The more you try, the more you can remember it well. And this is a very commonly asked question in VTU. What are the different methods? And these methods are commonly asked for 7 to 8 marks. So please try to remember these methods and explain with suitable examples. Thank you.